stuff.
Yeah,
That is
Snuff.
what makes us such a
I'm
good podcast, and
actually
this is the type of stuff that
interested
obviously
in
like
this.
obviously I'm a former pro
I
player,
want to get in
but
comms,
this is the
or
type of
I
stuff
want to
that
maybe
makes
get in
really
call with
good
Mike because
content
I'm pretty interested
because
in this. Because I have
because of
a,
the
or maybe even maybe I need to even
content
respond to
creators
Stu's tweet
that are
because
also pro players, because a large portion of
I don't.
streamers, a lot of
I'm
really
interested
good
to see if he
content creators out
confirmed
there
whether this
who are
was
not in the
true,
pro league. I already mentioned like
or if he's just
Deconstructing is
tweeting it
not in the
based
pro
on
league,
what
but
other
he's in the
pro
pro league
players have
now.
said.
He's dual, in my opinion,
I have to guess some of the people that were
better than most
contacted went
other
snitching to hires with screenshots.
players in
Right.
the industry.
I'm not doubting that that maybe occurred, but I don't know if those people, if the
Interacting with
people that were
other players or content creators
quote
or
unquote
whatever.
poaching
That's a little bit
pros
stranger,
were actually representatives of Valve or people that were working on the
maybe a little
game.
bit
Because
discouraging
I got an
because
email.
again they
Hey, what's up? Sorry, I just got back from the gym and I turned on your stream and I was listening because it was interesting and stuff. But I do want to say, I have a question for you about this tweet. What have you, I got in a little late, so what have you said about this tweet so far?
basically I just said that
Oh, also I'm loud, they said, your chat said.
yeah, I lowered you a bit.
Oh,
Should
okay,
be
okay,
okay
cool, cool.
now. Basically I think that a lot of what he's describing makes sense, and he's just saying how it's harder for companies like Hi-Res because they just don't have the leverage, right? Because they have to pay these other companies to use their platforms, which means like they take a percentage split of revenue the game generates, whether it's like skins or game sales, but then also they have to pay to be a part of the platform. And in some cases they have to pay to be advertised like on the front page, for example, of it. Like if
Yeah,
you look up a certain genre. So all of that makes sense to me, and it's like, it's basically like complain about your landlord. Like I'm down with that argument. I understand it.
yeah,
The problem that I have with it is I think there's been a couple Stu tweets that have alluded to the way that the industry has changed from present and post COVID. And I personally hate that a lot because I think that there's this like false confirmation bias that every game developer, for the most part, I think Activision Blizzard was like the one exception. Pretty much everyone grew during COVID, and the reason they're growing is intuitive, right? People are spending more time inside.
yeah. It's like your
And
tweet from
then
the other day.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
everybody assumes that once that ends, like even during COVID, everyone knew that was going to come to an end, right? Like this wasn't like a crazy like hindsight thing that nobody could have foreseen.
mm-hmm.
So the problem I have with it is that companies are spending a lot of money on their like teams and like upscaling it, right? Which I think makes sense to capitalize on that for the long term. But that doesn't mean that the decisions that you're making with your games are actually good. Like, if your player base is going up during COVID, it's not because your game is owning so hard and you've been putting out the best patches and the best content ever. It's just that people have nothing better to do. And from this tweet and some other tweets that I think Stu has had, to me, it kind of comes across as like sympathy farming a little bit. And it doesn't take a lot of accountability for bad decisions they've made. Like, the examples I used was a lot of the money that Smite made them from COVID, they then spent after COVID on things like Rogue Company and DKO, and they were just failures. And they weren't
Yeah,
failures
yeah,
because, they weren't failures because people just weren't playing games anymore. They were failures because they were poorly managed and they just weren't good games.
yeah.
And I think that kind of rubs me the wrong way, but I still want to be sympathetic to it because, like, it is hard. Like, it is harder to
Did
be a smaller publisher.
in
So.
the tweet, like at the beginning, he's talking about the whole like quote unquote poaching. What is I didn't read the rest of the tweet. Was the rest of the tweet about just like what you said, basically sympathy farming?
It was about Deadlock, I'm pretty sure,
Okay,
and it's about Valve.
okay, because I am not 100% sure on this. But and I feel like I might even respond to Stu and ask him because I wonder if he got like 100% confirmation on what he's talking about right now. Because to my knowledge, I don't even know if this is exactly true. Because I know you. I mean, we talked about it last night, like in DMs and stuff. But the InCon video, he didn't even reference himself. He was talking about. He said there was a group chat with. Didn't he say something like that with a bunch of pros and content creators? And
Yeah.
he said that it was a representative of Valve doing it. But obviously, I'm a pro player, a content creator. I'm in no group chat, and the only time I got an email like a month ago from somebody saying, "Hey, do you want to try out this game?" And I'm pretty sure, not 100% of course, but to my knowledge, I don't think that person has like anything to do with Valve. I think it was just some random person that is like trying to get people to try out the game because he likes it, or is like fans of like Smite, like content creators or pros, and is just trying to like maybe get a little like social status or something, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I don't even know if this is necessarily a true thing that's being said.
it's actually really funny that you say that, because now that you said it and when Incon said it, I kind of just felt like, oh yeah, it would make sense if they don't contact me because I'm not a content creator. But if you and or Incon are not in that group chat, then
And
to
Incon said
me
there is
that.
a group. He just said in my chat there is a group, yeah, but he doesn't think it's a direct Valve guy.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, that makes
But
sense.
I feel like that's a very important
It's different
distinction.
for
Like
sure.
if somebody's just like a fan of Smite Pros and is like trying to get them to play a new game with him, perhaps, like, that's completely different than like a Valve representative who's actively trying to poach. It would also make this
Well,
Stu tweet a little bit more sketchy because he's kind of accusing another company of trying to poach. You know what I mean?
well, I'd also just even make a distinction from that of like, even if they are poaching, we're not employees for Hi-Rez. We never have been, right? Like content
Yeah, yeah.
creators are
Doesn't
even
affect
different.
us.
Yeah, so like I feel like it's not like anything is illegal. Like maybe you could say like it's like against like unwritten rules or it's like in bad faith or something, but something I was talking about earlier and something I personally take issue with. I take a lot of issue that he is defensive over the content creators and pros when he just literally laid off the pro league. And
Yeah,
the reality is, if you wanted to retain these people and if they were important to you, you don't have to pay us the salary you had before. But they could definitely be doing, like, even like, let's say it's like a monthly tournament that's like, I don't know, 25 or 50K or something. Like, if you could win like 5K a person in like a winner take all tournament, of course, like a lot of the pro players would still play, right? Like, that's your rent or whatever else. Like, that could be a salary if you're just owning and dominating everything.
yeah,
You could definitely reduce a lot of costs and still keep people interested. And I just think it's kind of bullshit to, whether the poaching thing is true or not. And from what you said, it makes sense that it's a little bit exaggerated. I just kind of take issue with basically farming sympathy from that and being like, oh, like this is our community and our content creators and our pro players. Because I think there has not been a lot of, obviously, as a pro player, I'm biased because I lost my job. But even as a content creator, like, Smite Game channel itself, I've always had an issue with. Like, I think it was only the last year or two that they put content creators on the front page of Smite Game, right? Like they've done ads for like Weekend and Incon and whoever else.
yeah.
So I kind of hate that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you as far as the sympathy thing goes, but it's just this is like a weird, like, Incon just said in my chat, there was a person who like gave out codes to everyone and is trying to get everyone on the Deadlock train. I honestly don't know if it's official, but also, can you poach pro players in a game with no pro scene, which I agree with. There's no like there's no such
Yeah,
thing as poaching in this scenario, but this if it is somebody that's just not, that doesn't have anything to do with Valve, this is just like one step up from somebody coming in your chat and saying, hey, you should try out this game. You know what I mean? Like it
yeah,
has
yeah,
nothing to, like, there's no uh immorality here, I feel like, you know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, we were talking about last night too. I think something of like something at the start of Incon's video that I thought was, or maybe it wasn't the start, maybe it was in the middle or something. But I'm sure you would know this as well. I don't really because I haven't been doing it, but he also just mentioned that the general interest on Smite, and actually Solo Double J just said it too, that like YouTube
What's up, Oak?
engagement and Twitch engagement, they're both down a
Yeah,
good bit.
yeah, they definitely are.
So I think, because of that, I feel like, I don't know, I just have a hard time swallowing that pill and kind of blaming anyone other than themselves. And it's not easy to make Smite 2, and like I want it to do well, and they have a lot of work, and I'm sure it's overwhelming, but I just think they've pulled so many resources off of Smite 1, and the reality is they laid off a lot of people because they like didn't have those other projects succeed with Rogue Company and DKO and whatever. And I just kind of think like I think it kind of like guilt or sympathy like kind of shames people in a way of like, oh damn, it sucks we're losing our community. But I think at the end of the day, like if you and I had jobs right now as pro players, like
I
I
agree
don't
with
know
you,
about
Incon.
you, I probably wouldn't even play Deadlock or even consider it. Like I just normally main one game. That's what I
Yeah.
like to do personally. So
Dude,
I
that's
don't know.
wait, that's the other thing. I mean, I haven't played it yet and I didn't sign anything, so I feel like I can just say what I know from seeing gameplays on YouTube and stuff. The idea that it's like gonna instantly replace Smite, I think it's a little silly personally. I mean, if you go look at the gameplays that they already have for the alpha, a ton of the comments are even more doomer than in Smite 2's alpha. And not only
On
that,
Deadlock, you're saying?
yeah, on Deadlock. And not only that, it is a bigger company, Valve. But Valve constantly makes games that go under that, like, if you just go look at the comments, that's like basically what everybody's saying. Oh, look, another Valve game that's not going to get an update and is going to die. Like, so I don't know. I think it's a little silly just to say, like, especially since the general public hasn't even been able to play the game yet, you know?
Yeah.
But
I'm not really.
Incon made a good point. He said the biggest problem is that Smite 1 was sunset before Smite 2 is like a finished product, which is the main problem here. But I feel like this whole Deadlock situation isn't even really like an important thing, especially if this thing isn't true, that the actual Valve employee isn't even somebody that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this whole Stu's entire tweet here is,
it's like under that assumption.
yeah, and I don't think it's true. So I feel like this entire tweet is probably not something that should be public right now.
Well, I was also gonna say the only DM I ever remember, like, I actually thought it was literally a spam post. I didn't even like, because it like wanted my email or something, so I think I insta ignored it. But it was the same sort of idea. Like a month ago, I think someone messaged me on Discord about the game, and the only mutual server was like my Discord. So I guess they just like went into my Twitch and tried to find a way to contact me. You know?
Yeah.
So I just thought it was like maybe spam. But it did, like, the way it was worded was not like a professional, like, hey, I represent like this game.
That's how the
like,
email was. It literally looked like somebody was just like, hey, do you want to try out this game?
Yeah. I would also say the other point you made about, and like tying in the like sunsetting Smite 1 too early, is I think I'm not really big on the idea that like Deadlock is a guaranteed, or any new game really. Like, I'm not really like into the hype of that type of stuff of like, oh, this game's going to be the biggest thing ever. Like, Valorant turned out to be pretty big, right? But I remember when Valorant first came out, everybody was like, oh, it's going to kill Counter-Strike, you know? Like,
yeah.
Obviously that was never going to happen. Like, that's a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not really about like if the game is huge. I just think Smite is just like in this really sensitive, like, the longer time goes on, they're just fucked sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
regardless of the game, there's competition.
Choke them out on the clock. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be Deadlock. Like, there's plenty of other games that are like maybe not the exact same, but still very similar in feel, from like character kits, like FPS or third person, like strategy. Like, there's definitely a lot more competition than there used to be. So that's definitely a fair part. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to sidetrack you from your rant. I just wanted to talk about this real quick. So
I was actually going to ask you, have you talked about 9.5 yet?
No, I haven't. I just started my stream.
Do you like? Are you excited for it, or is it just like something new?
I think a bit of both. I'm definitely excited for it. I think there's going to be definitely some side effects, but I mean, at the very least, hopefully it'll get people to at least like try the game out a little bit more for the time being.
Yeah, I mean, I will probably play it, which I did not think I was ever gonna do.
Again. Yeah, I have some ideas for like, because like I'm gonna do a sub tourney soon, probably next weekend. So if maybe I can like time it around that, so we could do it on 9.5, so that could like showcase a little bit. And I also have some other ideas, like Weekend was tweeting about last night, but like doing like some money matches and stuff like that, because I've been playing ranked lately and using comms, like the in-game comms, and it's actually been like kind of fun. So I don't know if we can like maybe corral some troops to try it out. And I was joking. Genetics said that he would have wiped us anyway if 9.5 never happened. But I said we could do a show match. I was joking about that, but there could be something like that we could put together. Not obviously with like, I don't think Max would do it or whatever, but like, you know, maybe something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be fun for the time being.
I added Daniel on that. I don't know if Daniel's even like logged on to Twitter or something.
Yeah, I doubt he has. I texted him a few times, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, we can I can leave. I just wanted to see what you were talking about with this, and also just state for the record that I don't think this tweet should be in the public right now.
I think from Stu's perspective, it just feels, I'm sure he's just in a really tough position. I feel bad for it, but I also think, you know, that doesn't mean you should say, you know,
yeah,
whatever. But yeah,
or at least get confirmation, maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
All
right. Have fun. Keep yapping.
All right. Peace.
All right. Bye. Okay. For those that aren't in the know, there is a game. You can go watch Incon's video about it if you want. Incon talks about it in his video of him talking about improvements for Smite 1 and Smite 2. And just talking about the past, a little bit about the future and stuff. If you want like a more in-depth thing about it. But anyway, there's this game called Deadlock that's supposed to be NDA. I didn't sign anything. I haven't played the game, so fuck it. And it's basically a third-person MOBA with like 4 lanes, yada yada. Basically, you can look up gameplays on YouTube, so I don't even think it matters. There's already leaked gameplays for it. But there was this rumor, and I'm going to say rumor because that's basically what it was. There's this rumor that somebody from Valve or officials from Valve were contacting Smite pro players and Smite content creators to try out the game. So in a way, poaching them to get them to like kind of come over, give them feedback on their game, and maybe like, you know, get invested to the future of Deadlock. Here, let me just. So that was a rumor. There was a group chat that a bunch of pro players and content creators were added to with a person that was supposedly representing Valve for this, right? However, notice I said rumor because I'm pretty sure, still not 100% on this, so don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that the official or the person representing Valve has absolutely nothing to do with Valve and is simply just somebody who's a fan of Smite people and wants them to try out the game and is like just a one step up from somebody coming in, like any of you coming in my chat to say, you know, like you should try out like Predecessor or you should try out League of Legends. I'm pretty sure that's all it was. They just contacted a bunch of pros because they wanted them to try out the game. You try Halo speedruns, true. So, with that being said, if that is true, which I would bet my money that's what it is, because as a pro player or a former pro player and a content creator, I was contacted by somebody, but it was not professional at all. It was just an email, and they were basically just asking me if I wanted to try out the game, and it had nothing, like no signage, no nothing that was like in line with Valve. So, yeah, and anyone with Deadlock access can give alpha codes with emails. Exactly. That's just how it works right now. So, if that is true, which, like I said, I would bet money. You know, there's a Las Vegas LAN in January, so I need to start getting warmed up. I would bet money that that's the case. It's not a representative from Valve. And even when you think about it, it is a little bit weird. Valve is a huge company. Is Smite really the first game that they would contact? I guess maybe they could have contacted other games, so I guess that's besides the point. But anyway, betting money that that's true. Stu has made an entire tweet talking about how he thinks, basically just garnering a bit of sympathy for the fact that there's competition in that way. It's a pretty long tweet. You can read it if you want. But the gist is, and the important part is, if that's not true, if there isn't a Valve representative actually actively poaching in a way Smite content creators and pros, then I think this tweet is a little, I think this tweet might be a little irresponsible. He may know something we don't, to be fair. But from everybody that's referenced it, like in the Incon video, I know from like Ven, they're all referencing the same group chat. And Incon just came in chat, if he was here before, I don't know if he still is here, but he also said that he thinks that it probably isn't somebody that represents Valve. It was just some random person. And also, I'm pretty sure, I just saw Grave typing in Mike's chat. He also was in that group chat or got an email for it, and he said that he knows who it was, and it's somebody that is involved with Smite, that has been like trying to like make orgs in Smite and do other stuff in Smite for a long time. I don't know about that part, but maybe I can message Grave and see if... Wait, let me message Grave and see if he... Let me get to the bottom of this, do some detective work. Only reason I'm even talking about this is because Frost messaged me about it as well, and I started talking to him about it. He's not in the secret group chat. I mean, it would be a little bit weird, not to... I'm not trying to be conceited here, but if they're involving pro players and content creators, you would think they would involve... Be honest, you sent the email, didn't you? If you want my opinion, I haven't played the game, but from what I saw, that game looks shit. I have a lot of friends who have been playing it, and they say they like it, so there's that. But from the gameplay that I saw, the game does not make me... It does not look like something that would be very appealing to me. I mean, to be fair, like I've said that about a bunch of games and then end up playing it and actually like it a lot. But if also, like I said, if you look at the comments, like, okay, let's just go look at the comments real quick. One sec. Just go look at the comments if you want. I can't show it on stream. I might get fucking sued for that. But if you look at the comments, most of the people are like, holy shit, this looks shit. Or like, oh great, another Valve game that they're gonna fucking abandon after 6 months. Stuff like that. Like if you thought Smite 2 was doomer, just go look at some of those comments. That's all I'm gonna say. Of course, it's also in early alpha, by the way. It's in an alpha that you can't even see technically. So there's that. There's a big difference there. Oh, I sent Grave a message or a friend request. Hopefully he answers. Detective on the duty, on the work, on the job. Oh, Loyal sending you? Oh, what the heck? Oh, okay, I added you, I think, Grave. Dude, the last message I had with Grave was 7 years ago. Grave?
Hello. Yo.
First of all, long time no see, dude.
Yeah, 7 years ago. Well, it's kind of the same situation with Mike when I was sending him the screenshot of what I got on Twitter. It's the same thing.
Okay, wait, can you put the screenshot in here real quick?
Yeah.
Oh my god, this goes way... I have to, like, scroll so far down to even see this.
So either I can summarize or you can just read through it. It has nothing, like, bad in it. You can show it on stream.
Okay, so they said, I want to recommend you for this MOBA FPS by Dota, Steam, and CSGO devs. I just need your business email. Will be major esport. Currently a lot of Overwatch and Dota people in here. I want to get you Smite guys in next. It's DJ Academics from Take the Throne. Wait, who is that?
So he's been around the community probably since season 4 and 3. He's always been trying to make like esport orgs for the SEC level at least.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, you probably talked with him from back in the day. But yeah, he's always been trying to like make it by like getting ins with pros and stuff like that.
Dude, I knew it. So he's basically so you think it's basically just somebody that's like, you know, like if he recommends the game to you, you get into it, maybe he sees or you see him as like the in, so then you start to be friends with him and now he has like social status.
Exactly. Here, let me send you another picture real quick of basically how you get into the game. It's nothing special.
Oh shoot.
I don't know if you can show that on stream.
Yeah, I don't know if I can show that one. I'm afraid I might get in trouble for that.
Essentially, to summarize, it's just he has access to the game. In the game, there's a spot to recommend a friend. You send him his email. He sends your email, and then a couple days they get back to you with you get an email from them with a game key.
Was this the screenshot from the group chat?
This is what I asked him how it was working, and he sent me up like a picture with his phone live. So yeah.
What? So, okay. And this is probably the guy that like everyone is referencing when they're saying somebody from Valve is poaching Smite people.
From what I know, it's the same DM Mike got, same DM other people got as well. I talked to him more about it. He says, I got a lot of SPL players in, and they have a Discord, and they queue mainly with each other. You know, those words from his DM. But basically, he said he's been messaging a lot of Smite pros and gotten them in. So
Wow.
I assume that's what everybody's talking about.
Okay. All right. Wait. Okay. Snuffle link to Take the Throne thing. Wait, who was on this team?
A lot of people.
The
Gamma.
Smite Wiki.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Gamma was on it. Jake was on it. Awesome Jake.
Oh, what the heck? And he owned this?
Yeah.
It says he's the head coach. I guess he's like, yeah, they did like.
He's always tried to make things. Like before Take the Throne, it was something else. He's worked with other orgs. But he's basically always been in the background trying to make something happen.
So maybe he's finally made it and works for Valve now. So he's trying to get people to come over.
Maybe.
Okay.
That's a very high maybe. Though.
Yeah. I'm just messing around. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you for shedding some insight.
No worries. Have a good day.
Also, good to talk to you again. All right. That was Grave, who, by the way, I teamed with for a while, if you guys didn't know. Also played in the SPL in Season 6, I think. I'm pretty sure, guys. I'm pretty sure that there is no official poaching going on. Allegedly. View... No. Post engagements? Quotes. From a business standpoint, that's actually really insightful and something I didn't even think about. The advantage of a platform that distributes games and also makes them insane. Side note, I've been invited to no group chats and my ego has been hurt. Weekend! Okay, if they're inviting all of the pro players or all of the content creators and trying to poach people, I feel like if they're not gonna invite me, they definitely would invite Weekend. No, what should I even say? I'm gonna be honest, Stu. I don't think the quote poaching is from anyone other than a, should I say, a rabid fan? A fan slash third party. Pretty sure Valve has absolutely nothing to do with it. Does he actually even say anything in the tweet that would be libelous? Let's read it. I actually don't want to read all of it, to be fair, but at least let's read the beginning. It's the nature of the competitive landscape, even though I have already read this, but you guys probably haven't. It's the nature of the competitive landscape, so I'm less complaining than raising visibility of facts on the ground. But I wanted to give insight into how increasingly stacked the industry is becoming against independent and mid-sized studios versus large distribution platforms, which is probably true. I'd rather focus on the general issue, which applies across the board, than slam a specific platform. The general problem is not specific to any one platform, but as an example, a large partner of ours that we rely on for a significant percentage of our revenues is very blatantly targeting our content creators and pros for a competitive game they are making. This is in reference to Deadlock. So this, right off the bat, assuming everything we found out is true, this is already actually a little bit rough to say. Of course, a level of that is understood and expected and just part of doing business. All is fair in love and more, but A, this is not normal level targeting. It is down to creating private group chats of just our game's major content creators to target directly and seemingly make this a core part of their strategy. Which is in reference to Valve. So this is also not something you should be saying. They also said very blatantly. Dude, wait, this wording is so weird because the way he's putting it, it's making me think he knows something that we don't at all. But if everybody that's been contacted is kind of in agreement here, then who are the people that have been contacted privately about this? Yo, Liquor, thank you for the 2 months, dude. Welcome back to the Fonzo family. I appreciate that, dude. What are you talking about, Cam? But if I'm Valve, this totally sounds opinions too. If I'm, yeah, for sure, Tim. Okay, but I don't think that's the case. It would just be way too much of a coincidence if like only a few people got actually contacted by Valve and some of the biggest creators didn't get contacted at all. So all of this, I think, is maybe just assuming something that's not true. So all of this is pretty rough to write. Even if it's normal and expected, the fact that it happens is asymmetrical by nature and fosters less competition. I mean, if it's true, then this is a fine thing to say, but even if we commit the same money resources to this fight, the information asymmetry means we are, relatively speaking, bringing a knife to a gunfight. Okay, and then this is just talking about the struggles of being a smaller distributor, smaller dev team. To be fair, he doesn't reference anybody. He doesn't reference anybody specifically, so you technically could say that like he's not even talking about Valve. But I don't know how the laws and stuff like this goes. But like, if it's quite obvious who you're talking about, then does it matter? I don't think it does. But anyway. Yeah. Based on Sherlock, the Sherlock detective work we've done, I'm pretty sure this is, he should take this tweet down. Google Valve CEO, it's DJ Academics. What's up? Oh, okay. Even if this is all just complete BS, what Stu is saying is an overconfidence is not wrong. Yeah, no, I agree, Snuffle. That's not the problem I have with this tweet. In fact, I'm on Team Stu a lot of the time lately, but I just think that the beginning of this tweet is kind of irresponsible if what's happening is not actually happening. Yeah, true, Tim. He's talking about Hi-Rez as a studio struggling against a competitor that's much larger than them, like Valve, by them using like certain strategies to like put them down, basically. And the very first thing he references is them poaching content creators. Or I keep saying poaching. I don't actually think it's poaching. I'm just using it like colloquially because it's easy and everybody knows what I'm talking about. But the problem is that's not actually happening. Yeah, I don't think PTS is going to have pre 9.5 changes for a little bit, guys. It's going to take the dev team probably some time to figure that all out. No, he doesn't look like money, man. I'm not saying it like that. I'm not saying poach in that way. I'm saying it in reference to like what you would think it is. Obviously, there's no poaching going on. It's just an easy way to say get the point across.